Yeah. Anyway, it's 8 o'clock. So welcome to you all, and welcome to anybody who is watching the recording later. I know some of you do. Today we're doing the mindfulness of breathing. And I want to continue a theme that I started on Tuesday about just noticing when you've been distracted. Now, our tendency when we get distracted, we're sitting here trying to meditate, and our mind keeps bothering us, keeps pulling us away, and we don't want it to. We want to be quiet. So we get annoyed, we get a bit irritated, either overtly or perhaps just a little bit. But there's something in us that doesn't want that to happen, because we want to be here sitting quietly and peacefully. We want contentment. And if we take that attitude, it's not helpful. It's what we do, but it's not helpful, because it's just putting more thoughts into the system, into the mind. And it's resistance. We're getting into conflict with the mind. So it just doesn't help at all. So on Tuesday, I was talking about not doing that. Instead of doing that, just appreciating this precious moment when you come back into the present, when you come back to the moment, this moment, when you come back to awareness, in fact. So when we get distracted, we're going off in our mind, and then we notice that we've gone, and there is no thoughts. The moment that we notice that we've been away, it's empty of thought. And that is a precious moment. And we know that it's empty of thought. I mean, when we're doing this meditation today, just notice that when you've been distracted and you come back, just notice that there's no thought, but somehow you know that you're back. You know that you've been away without actually thinking about it verbally. So that is what we're trying to cultivate. That is what we're trying to encourage, and to make it last longer each time. And of course, we can't make it last longer. All we can do is we can just patiently keep coming back, appreciating that moment of silence and peace. And that's a much more positive way of doing this practice. So every time we're distracted and we notice we've been distracted by thought, just rejoicing and coming back to awareness, to an awareness that we're here now and that we've been away. If we can keep doing that, that awareness will grow, and we will be present in our lives much more without the chattering mind distracting us and upsetting us and causing us all kinds of dismay at times. So that's the practice, and I think it's really good to just remember that, and I'll remind us of it as we go through. Good morning, Jackie, good to see you. Got a good crowd this morning, so pleased to have you here. So we'll begin in the usual way by just settling in, and you can do this practice lying in bed, lying on the bed, lying on the floor, sitting on the chair or a cushion, however you like. It's just fine, however you want to do it. Just make sure you're comfortable. And you can do it with your eyes closed or partly open. If you're sitting on the chair, just try and remember to sit up straight, but not too straight, not rigid, just alert but relaxed. And we'll begin by just helping ourselves to relax, by just noticing how we are to begin with. What's it feel like to be you this morning? What's it feel like to be lying or sitting here? And whatever it feels like, it's fine, even if it feels a bit not so good or uncomfortable mentally or physically. That's okay. And if it feels good, then that's absolutely okay. So just accepting how we are, how we're feeling this morning. Noticing our bodies sitting on a chair or lying on bed or the floor. And just allowing the weight of the body to be held by whatever we're sitting or lying on. In a way, just giving up our weight to the earth. And we might bring our attention to the tingling in our hands. Lots of energy in the hands. Whether you can feel it in the fingertips. In the palm of the hands. And in the soles of the feet, the same kind of energy, tingling, constantly moving. Contact with the chair, or the bed, or the floor, or the cushion. Just noticing the sensations in your back if you're lying down, in your bottom if you're sitting. Quite strong sensations when we come into contact with something else. What does that feel like? Can you feel the warmth, the tingling in the contact with whatever you're sitting or lying on? And other sensations, the air on your face. Is it warm or cold? Any sounds that you can hear? How wonderful that we can sit here and all this stuff is going on. This wonderful human life. This precious human life. Happening all the time. Maybe bringing our attention now to the breath in the body. The chest rising and falling as we breathe. The sensation of the breath in the lungs, coming into the lungs from the throat. Can you notice that? And the shoulders rising and falling as we breathe in and breathe out. So each time we breathe out and the shoulders drop, just relaxing, just allowing any tension or tightness to drop away. And then drop away a bit more on the next out breath, and then a bit more. Just letting go. Just allowing our bodies to soften and be at ease. This is the mindfulness of breathing. And in the first stage, we're following the out breath from the very beginning to the very end. Each out breath, just following the progress from its beginning to its end. And if we wish to help us, we can place a number at the end of each out breath, beginning with 1, and then 2 on the next out breath, and so on up to 10. And then coming back and beginning again at 1. And if we get distracted, just noticing that we've been distracted with a sense of joy, just noticing the silence and contentment and peacefulness of the moment when we come back. There's no thought, but we know there's no thought. There's a real sense of awareness of the present moment, of being here in that moment. So just appreciating that with a little bit of rejoicing. So counting at the end of each out breath. Not making too much effort, just doing this in a very relaxed way. It's not a competition. You can't do it wrong. Following each out breath from the beginning to the very end. just dropping the counting for a moment if you're counting, and just making sure that you're comfortable, checking your posture, adjusting it if need be. And then when you're ready, we're going to begin counting just before each in-breath in exactly the same way, following the in-breath all the way to the end. And if you keep getting distracted a lot and it's a bit frustrating, just have a sense of kindness to the frustration. It doesn't matter how many times we get distracted, as long as we keep coming back to the present moment. That is what we're trying to do. Just noticing that present moment when we're right here in awareness. Not making too much effort, just staying relaxed. There's no targets to meet. There's nothing to achieve. We're just noticing when we've been distracted and coming back to the present moment. Training our minds to relax. In the third stage, we're going to stop the counting altogether if we're doing it, and just bring our awareness to the sensations of the breath in the body, particularly in the chest area. The movement of the body, the movement of the chest as we breathe in and breathe out. The sensations of the air coming into the lungs and leaving the lungs. And anything else you can notice. The rhythm of the breath. And just allowing yourself to get lost in the sensations, in the beautiful rhythm of the breath. You might also notice the movement of the breath in the other parts of the body, in the abdomen and the belly, the legs, the arms, the head. If we look really closely, we can feel the movement of the breath all over the body. It's okay if you can't notice it, but just be open to sensing the breath everywhere. And then, if you wish, bring in your awareness to the whole of your being, the whole of you breathing in, breathing out, the sense of movement, the sense of aliveness and energy in the whole of your being. And in the final part of this meditation, we're going to bring our attention to the area where we breathe in and out. So that's probably the nostrils or the upper lip. And just noticing the delicate sensations as the breath passes the skin, the very sensitive skin in each of these areas. And just noticing as much as you can of these sensations. Following each in-breath and then following each out-breath. Just really homing in on the sensations. Not trying too hard, just relaxing and focusing on the nostrils or the upper lip and the sensations. And as we move towards the end of the meditation, just letting go of all effort now, just sitting with your experience, whatever it is, just observing how you are, how it is for you right now. And in a few moments, I'm going to ring the bell to bring the meditation to an end. And when I do, just taking your time and being gentle with yourself, opening your eyes when you're ready.